Thank you, Rupa. Good morning to each and everyone. Today, Sunday morning, we have 100 plus participants. Nice to see you all. And our subject is today's topic is how to 10x your practice. And we have speaker CA Anil Bhandari. And there are many of you who have already heard him earlier. And you know, master class speaker on this particular subject. Basically, see, if you want to sell your services, if you want to market yourself, is the best man to guide you. Before we proceed further, I request, today we have lost Bharat Ratna Lataji Mangeshkar. If you can have a 1 minute silence as a token of respect to her. So time begins now. Thank you. Now, one announcement: we have been awarded second best Vikasa branch. Thane branch is awarded second best Vikasa branch in regional level, and we are most commendable branch in regional level. So our main branch and Vikasa both are winner. Thanks for all your support during last 1 year during this pandemic. Before we proceed further, I request recently elected Managing Committee member Harshavardhan Bapat to formally introduce today's speaker, CA Anil Bhandari. And before that, I would like recently elected Central Council member from Thane area, Preeti Savla ma'am. I wish she could say a few words to this August gathering.
Thank you, Asavaji. And first of all, let me congratulate the wonderful work which you have been done in your chairmanship, and because of which the results are then and got the regional level best commendable branch. So my best wishes, congratulations and best wishes for all your future endeavors. I also congratulate the Vikasa team headed by Rajneesh Sharma, who has also got best Vikasa award at regional level. And I am sure with the kind of programs the members' knowledge has enriched during this entire year. Again, as regards to Anil sir, what I can say, I can I can say the one sentence I can say, the topic which has been chosen, how to grow your practice 10x, it should have been when Anil Bhandari is a speaker, it should be 100x and not 10x. And because I have worked with him during at the region, he was our chairman, and a lot of learnings from him. So the best wishes on this Vasant Panchami. Let Ma Saraswati bless all of us, and going towards with Lakshmi Ma on with this session. So wish you all the best and a happy Sunday morning. Happy Sunday. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Over to Chairman, Mr. Asava.
Bapat, Harshavardhan, you are ready, na? Harshavardhan, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now I request CA Harshavardhan Bapat, Managing Committee member, recently elected Managing Committee member of Thane branch, to formally introduce today's speaker, CA Anil Bhandari. Over to you, Harshavardhan.
Thank you so much, Chairman, sir. First of all, good morning and welcome everyone. All the Managing Committee members, Chairman Asava Saab, Central Council member Preeti Madam, and Anil Bhandari, sir. So it is my pleasure to introduce Anil Bhandari, sir, today. Actually, he is literally the definition of a person who needs no introduction. because his work and his experience and his time in the council speaks for itself. But as a formality, to be a bit brief, Anil sir is an inspired innovator, technologist, and thought leader in information risk management, fraud and forensic and IT security. Anil Bhandari sir has been the past president of the Institute of Internal Auditors of India and is on the board of ISACA, India Growth Task Force. He is an elected Central Council member of ICI, and therein he chairs the Digital Transformation Group, chairman of Internal Audit Standards Board, and vice chair of Financial Reporting Review Board. He started his career as a management consultant, serving in many sectors. He has led several M&As due diligence on behalf of clients, spanning several industry verticals, and especially in the European Union region. For the last 1.5 decades, he has been successfully monitoring ANB, a leading risk advisory consulting firm. Now, Anil sir is now an early investor in high-tech growth technologies. As an investor and mentor, he works in tandem with an array of early-stage technology companies, which focus on mitigating new generation risk. So, to use the pop culture language, Anil Bhandari sir is, in a true sense, a shark of our industry, as they use in Shark Tank. So, he is one of the panelists we are proud to have today. So, Anil sir, it is my pleasure to welcome you today. And with these brief words, I conclude my introduction, sir.
Over to you, Anilji.
So,
Screen is yours.
congratulations to Thane branch for some exceptional and commendable work that you've done. Congratulations for electing good Central Council members as well. I think you have a fantastic team there. And thank you, Harshvardhan, for a fantastic introduction. I'm not sure whether I hit the pop culture or not, but I am trying to grow my hair to maybe look at the next generation chartered accountants. Yeah. This topic, I think, is fundamentally close to my heart. I'll just give you an example. Just yesterday, I had 3 colleagues come in from Delhi, and very promising ones. And one of them happened to have just won the elections for the regional council. So they came in, all the 3 partners, and they said that, they've been doing some fantastic work over the last 3-4 years. They have set up a firm, and they're now setting up every vertical. And the partner that they wanted to introduce me to was doing something around the funding aspects, and said that, and he used to work for, I think, Jaguar in the UK, and try and, get mezzanine equity, pre-IPO equity, so on and so forth. And they came in and said that, look, we have established a team of almost 40 chartered accountants and an overall staff strength of almost 100 people, and they're doing a fantastic work. So I don't know, I was in my elements yesterday, and I started to tell them, yaar, ye aap kyun kar rahe ho, boss? So why don't you just stop your practice and become entrepreneurs? Can you imagine, with 35 chartered accountants and a staff of 100, what you're doing is a practice of around maybe say 10, 15 crores. As even a builder, forget about, I'm not talking about being a builder. I'm saying even a builder, you would have become a 1,000 crore company today. So I was trying to impress upon them that the fact is that, unfortunately, chartered accountants have a fantastic opportunity, but we always start looking at ourselves, trying to do something which is much smaller in our mind. And by the time I think they left my office, I think they said that, this is a simply different way to look at it. How do we simply, make sure that our minds are facing towards the fact that we can do something very, very large, very, very large. I'm not saying practices are bad. I'm not saying consulting is bad. I'm not saying developing an integrated platform of practice is bad. What I'm saying is that maybe we should have actually created this so-called large firm maybe 20 years back. हमारे शायद बाप दादाओं लोगों को बनाना चाहिए था to create a large platform. And today, I think chartered accountants are trying to get together and create a larger firm, which is good. Every other Central Council member, every other chartered accountant will come and tell you that. Everybody would come and tell you, please grow a large firm, please add more verticals. Sure, you have to do it. There's no other way to do it. But I'm saying, try and think even beyond that. Try and see if you can think even beyond that. And in my presentation, I'll try and highlight 2 things for you. One is, what is coming up in the next maybe 5 or 10 years, which is, I think, very important for all of us to understand. And I'm not sure whether I have given this presentation ever in Thane. It talks about different models of businesses which are likely to emerge and come up. Now, that is something that all of us as chartered accountants should keep in mind. Because if you want to develop practices, if you want to develop consulting, if you want to develop services, there is no way but for us to think through what is likely to come in the future and very near future. And then second is, if you're aware about what is likely to come, how do you build a practice, a consulting, or an entrepreneurship on top of all of that, which would hopefully take you to 10x? And maybe like Preeti said, can we dream of making like 100x? And today, believe me, friends, there is a time for all of us to actually think about 100x and not even 10x. 10x is just for starters. It's just for breakfast. And we see this happening all across. I'm sure all of you would have had friends from schools and colleges who would have not only been at just BComs and they would turn into a 100 crore enterprise or 1,000 crore enterprise, right? And I'm also sure that you would have had clients that you would have actually helped to build right from a garage all the way to become large organizations. And I'm sure you would all feel so proud about it, that saying that, look, I handheld this client and I made this client grow to 100 crores, 500 crores, 1,000 crores, and whatever that client is today. Or your client aaj meri hi sunta hai aur kisi ki nahi sunta. We take that pride in ourselves. I'm saying it's time for us to jump the gun and move on the other side of the line. While we can do this so well for our clients, what is it that we can't do for ourselves? And today, I'm asking you to be only greedy. Today, I'm asking you to only dream. Today, I'm telling you that, guys, while you can do this for your clients, there is a time which is very good in the next 10 years. Why don't we do it for ourselves as chartered accountants? We are people who understand nitty-gritties of business, functionalities of business. We understand the political scenario. We understand ability to get funding. We more or less understand how to structure a business and get a business ready. If you have all of these skills, and incidentally, this is something that you've learned during your articleship period, while you're doing practice, and so on and so forth, why don't we be greedy and use it for ourselves? Remember, sometimes greed is good. I think somebody has said greed is good because greed helps you to greed helps you to create that drive in yourselves, the hunger in yourself. I think hunger is the starting point of whatever you would like to do. So I will now try to share my presentation. I will not talk about 10x first. What I will talk to you about is what is different, which is likely to come. And if those are what is likely to change, how do we actually improvise and get ourselves to 10x or 100x? So let me try and see if I could share my screen with you once again. Okay, here we go. Now, well, of course, the topic is grow your practices by 10x, but you would see something which is digital here. And in today's world, you can't have anything other than digital. And by digital, by the way, by digital, I don't mean internet. By digital, I don't mean software. By digital, what I mean is a completely different journey that you're likely to see of businesses emerge. Of course, all of us have realized that digital businesses and technology on your fingertip has completely changed everything. And you're literally working from home, learning from home, earning from home. And I used to always say this, I don't know if you would have heard me before. 5 years back, I used to say, who competes with airlines? Who competes with Indigo? People used to come up and say, Air India competes, Vistara competes. I said, no. The competition is from people like Zoom. The competition is from people like WebEx. The competition is from people like Teams. And Zoom today transports 300 million people on a daily basis, more than 300 million users on a daily basis. It's valued at more than 100. When I put up this number of 45 billion, that was in 2020. Today, I think it is more than $100 billion. And with what Facebook is trying to do, metaverse, we would actually be sitting with each other in a virtual world very, very soon, all of us. Now, this is important for you. I'm not sure if anybody has familiarity with what I'm likely to talk. The business models are changing. The first business model which is evolving is outcome-based business model. What do you mean by outcome-based business model? Anything and everything that you do is now measured in outcome, experiences. It is no longer measured in terms of money delivery. It is measured in terms of outcome and experiences. So look at how the automobile business is changing. Earlier we used to buy a car because of the engine, because of the color, because of the styling. Today you buy a car only if the car engages with you. And because the car is able to engage, you have an experience and an outcome coming out of the car. Similarly, you would be able to actually make sure that your budgets are under control, because the cars of today and the cars of future are likely to be very, very different. So the outcome is what? I'm able to talk to a car. I want a car like that. I'm able to tell a car, hey, you know what? I'm going to come down in the next 10 minutes. Please be at my Porsche. Please come down and pick me up. Something like that. That engagement, that outcome is very important. When you're doing banking, it is no longer putting money in a bank and acquiring a service. You're actually wanting wealth creation. You're actually wanting seamless experience across the world. Now, Mr. Modi is coming out with cryptocurrencies. Can you imagine if a cryptocurrency comes, even that second that we could not wait to transfer the money from my account to your account, it's going to come down into nanoseconds now, because it's like a demat account. Debit and credit happens in a second, in a jiffy, and you get your money in less than a second. Connected homes. You were trying to buy equipments before. You're able to create an outcome within your home: energy, shopping, security, environment, entertainment, our diaries and budgeting, all becoming possible because of new advancements in connected homes. Education is gone through I don't know if there's a 600-degree change. Healthcare is likely to go through a 600-degree change. Why? Because people did not realize the importance of connected healthcare. People did not realize this importance until we hit the COVID. And of course, retail that you see is changing, but not because you see Zomato or not because you see Amazon. What is likely to change in retail is more personalized services, more interactive in-store digital experiences. The second model, which is coming in the world today, is hyper-personalization. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at this business model. People are saying that anything and everything that you want to do in the world today is going to be hyper-personalized to yourself. Can you imagine that with the manufacturing 4.0, I repeat, with the manufacturing 4.0, which is likely to happen through APIs and connected factories, you can actually build, you can actually manufacture a soap the way you like it, with your name on it, with your branding on it. Today, you're actually able to manufacture a Nike shoes customized to your style and shape. You can actually have a drink customized to your style, shape, and mood. You can actually create a music beat customized to what you like, and so on and so forth. This is called hyper-personalization. Outcome and hyper-personalization, they eventually go together very, very well. Why? Because eventually what you want is something that you personally like, and people are trying to target that to you. All the fintech companies that you see in the market are trying to create a hyper-personalized business model. I'm not sure if you're realizing that. The third one, very, very important again. Access has become more important than ownership. I repeat, access has become more important than ownership. What do you mean by that? What you mean is you no longer want to own assets. You want to experience an asset. Why want to buy it? Accommodation, for example, Airbnb, do not own a single accommodation or they don't own hotels. So similarly, in that line, you have automotive, drive now, construction, luxury apparel, which is going to be a very, very interesting business model, equipment manufacturing, where you will actually share the equipment rather than the hospitals wanting to buy the equipment. So one case study that I have given there is Cohilo, where a US-based technology company allows hospitals to share equipment, reducing the need to buy assets and boosting utilization rates. It can service has saved more than $1 million, $2 million each for every hospital, and that is likely to become very, very important. Last one, and now this is very important for all chartered accountants together. What it means is collaboration. Do not reinvent the wheel. Partner with experts who have a competitive edge. A team effort across industry is necessary. What it really means is that, my friends, don't try to compete with each other. Don't try and think that you are able to do anything and everything under the sun. What you're able to do good is good. You may have an ability to go and talk to the market very easily, but you may not have the ability to sit on the table and work around it. You may have the ability to maybe sit on the table and work at the numbers, but you may not have the ability to go and do marketing, for example. You may not have the ability to go and develop relationships, for example. I think you would need to now start identifying not chartered accountants कि यार कोई दूसरा chartered accountant ढूंढ लेते हैं और उसके साथ में practice develop कर लेते हैं. नहीं, you will have to find people who are able to complement your skills. If you are very good in a particular area, I'm not talking about specialization. I'm talking about a skill. If your skill is good in a particular area, try and complement or supplement it by somebody else who has a skill in a different area. For example, marketing could be one. For example, relationship building could be one. For example, sales could be one. For example, somebody who's able to create that experience could be one. For example, that somebody is able to train your staff to deliver well could be a good example. You need to partner with these kind of people in the near future. The societal impact of all of this is going to be worrisome in the near future because employment is going to be under stress in the next 5 years because the skills are different. Today, I think there is amazing amount of employment all across our country. Trust is likely to be a problem because everything is going to be slightly revolving around digital. So the trust is likely to be a problem. And of course, cybersecurity and security is going to be one very interesting area. I think these are 7 key technologies that one has to look at. Artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, big data analytics, custom manufacturing and 3D printing, Internet of Things, robots and drones and social media platforms. These are 7 key technologies which are likely to become a part of what you do. Now, I wouldn't take too much time on different industries, but I may just want to touch upon in the next maybe 5 or 7 minutes, just touch upon what are the different things coming in different industries. And then we will shift our gears to how do we try and see whether we can grow our practice 10x, what are other people doing around these areas, and how are we going to mature ourselves within this area. I'm only trying to take the next 10 minutes telling you that every industry is likely to have an impact, and every industry is likely to have an impact in a different way. So aviation, travel, and tourism is one industry which has already had an impact during Corona, and it's going to have a completely different impact. These 3 industries would actually converge and merge into each other and develop a living travel experience. So travelers will experience seamless journeys tailored to their habits and preferences. And travel will blend seamlessly with other everyday activities. Important initiatives are travel centricity, seamless customer journey, and end-to-end proposition. So you're likely to see that this aviation, travel, and tourism is likely to converge into one in such a way that living experiences become very, very interesting going forward. Mining and metals are likely to change because you would have more automation and robotics and operational hardware coming into mining. And that is why analytics will become very interesting to ensure that where do I even go and do my mining activity? That is likely to become very interesting. So any chartered accountant offering services to any of the mineral or any of the resourcing companies would have to ensure that understands analytics and decision support making. Telecommunication, of course, is likely to change. I don't want to spend too much time here. Let me try and see if I can. I have already spoken about automotive, how the digital experience is likely to change everything. Let me try and see if I can have a meaning on this diagram. I don't know if you're able to see this slide, which talks about how multimodal transportation is likely to work. Multimodal integration seamlessly links all forms of road, rail, and ferry travel, as well as walking and cycling. Full-scale integration could create more than 270 billion of societal and environmental benefits. And consumer, amazing. The consumer data flow and value capture, digitalization helps companies use consumer data to innovate. And on the last slide, you're seeing digital operating model where supply chain and factories will enable mass customization of products and experiences. A firm's ability to manage consumer experience will be central to gaining a competitive advantage. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, while we can keep going through electricity, we can keep going through healthcare, we can keep talking about all of this, logistics, all of that. And you can, of course, Google it and figure out. I've put some names of the companies who are doing fantastic in these areas. You can, of course, Google on and figure that out, and I'll send this presentation. But I wanted to end this presentation here by saying that it is very important for us chartered accountants first to understand the nitty-gritties of what you're trying to see in the next 5 years, what businesses you're likely to see in the next 5 years. And these businesses will either help you to make entrepreneurs or will help you to grow your practice 10x or 100x from here, only because you may have a first comer advantage. And that is very important for all of us to look at. Now, let me spend another half an hour, 30, 35, 40 minutes on how do we work around this and what do we have currently. So let me take this presentation off. Anybody has any questions around technology, industry, what is likely to change in the ground? Happy to take that 1 or 2 questions if anybody has, and then move on to another presentation, which I would want to link with what the world is talking about and how do you actually create a practice around all of this that we can think through. Anybody who has any question? You can put it in the chat box and I can probably take it up from there if you have any question. We'll just give a 2-3 minute break to make sure that we are in sync with what we're discussing. And this is also a test for all those who are collecting their CPRs.
Harshvardhan, there are 1 or 2 questions in chat box. If you can read it out.
Yes, sir. Just 1 second.
No, I can see the chat box myself as well, Asavaji. I'm just trying to test everybody on a Sunday morning, whether anybody has any question about.
Yeah. So the one question that is there is that whether this automation and blockchain and everything will affect labor or manual labor-oriented processes.
No, of course it's going to affect. I will tell you, Ashwardhan, the way that I'm imagining the future factory, it will be like, how you buy a product on Amazon. You go to Amazon and you say, okay, give me 5 dresses, give me this product, give me a laptop or whatever. In the future, there would be another Amazon which will say, and that that could be also for us because of hyper personalization. I will go there. I will say, I want to manufacture just 200 cars, and those 200 cars should have maybe Mahesh's name written on it and maybe Mahesh's style on, right? Because people know him in Thane. For example, I'm just giving you an example, right? Or it could be Preeti, or it could be Mangesh or Ashavati or anybody. And I want to manufacture these 200 cars. So and I want it in the next 2 months. So what I'll do, I'll go on the internet. There would be a web page which will come up, car manufacturing factories across the world. I will go and choose the cars manufacturing, the style that I like, create a style, create an engine, create the horsepower, create the software, and construct the car together on the fly. Once I construct the car together on the fly, just like choosing, today what you want to buy, what's the color, what is the shape, styling, all of that. I paint my car and I get it ready. Once I get it ready, I have to manufacture that car. You don't have a factory to manufacture that car, but you have a very different aura. Your car will sell not because it's a Tesla. Your car will sell not because it's a Maruti. Maybe your car will sell because it's a Mayur. Maybe your car will sell because you are Shah Rukh Khan. I don't know. It could be anything, right? So I'll just manufacture 300. I don't want more than 300. I will press the button. I will find out which factories across the world are available in terms of manufacturing resources today. And I will suddenly find out that 100 cars can be manufactured in China because the Chinese factory has got a slot for manufacturing 100 cars today, right? And the Korean plant also has the ability to manufacture 100 because उनके पास में रात को काम नहीं है वो time पे. When I press the button, it will actually go and fire 3 APIs. One, now imagine, I'm not even talking about software here. I'm actually talking about a hardcore manufacturing here. So you have so many clients who are very small clients, who have small manufacturing capabilities, small ones, right? Their output is they don't work the factories overnight. They don't work it 24/7. Can you imagine if I link his factory because of the automation to a software which is on the internet, and he's got IoT enabled and the APIs are available in the internet? I go and press the button. Yes, I don't mind. Manufacturing plant is appropriate. It has the same machine which all manufacturing machines across the world, and it will be able to manufacture, say, maybe I know of a company in Nashik, for example, doing electrical scooters, for example. I think one of the guys who's a chartered accountant got, I think, the best CFO award or whatever, entrepreneur or a young achiever award or whatever in Delhi. I just met him yesterday, 2 days before in Delhi. Now he manufactures electrical scooters in a very small scale. They don't have a mega plant of manufacturing 5,000 scooters, but small plant of 100 scooters. Now, can you imagine? I put an IoT equipment there, put it on the internet, link it on a website where Mayur comes and designs it, likes a car, likes a scooter, presses a button, manufacture. Now that manufacturer guy will say, "Bhai, pehle paisa to de do." So whatever money is required to be done, online transferred. Now comes a supply chain problem. How am I going to construct a car because I don't have maybe the lights, I don't have the wipers, I don't have the glasses, I don't have maybe the doors, I don't have maybe the brake oils, whatever. So there will be some items which are common items, and some items because Mayur has chosen to choose a color which may not be there in the plant, so he may need to order for 3 colors. Automatically, it will go and fire a request to 20 different vendors across the country who will automatically make sure that the supply chain is organized in a way that all the materials are delivered to him on Monday, and all of them are automatically put on the machine on a Tuesday, and the cars are manufactured one by one on Wednesday, and you have 100 cars or scooters coming out on Wednesday. Is that too difficult? Definitely not too difficult. And is it possible in the near future? Of course, it's possible in the near future, right? Because all the ingredients that I'm talking to you is already there in the market. You just will have to have manufacturing capabilities aligned a little bit to make sure that they're agile and available across the world. So maybe you will not see the great factories of China. Maybe you will see the great factories of India, which is much smaller tomorrow. Why? Because that is how the business model is likely to evolve. Business models are likely to be outcome based, and they're likely to be hyper personalized. Can a mega factory of Tesla hyper personalize Tesla car for you? Definitely not. Can a mega factory in China hyper personalize a product for you? Maybe not. And maybe they'll also do it because their factories are sitting idle. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this is where we are likely to move in the near future. Please don't take technology as software. इसको एक software को एक 10 मिनट हम हटा देते हैं. Supply chain, SAP, accounting solutions. Please take all of that from your mind. I think technology is much more deeper, and technology is getting closer to manufacturing, machinery, getting aligned with the software and getting aligned with your mind. So when you can think through it, it will start manufacturing. अभी इसमें आप क्या कर सकते हो? इसमें आप 500 काम कर सकते हो. आप सप्लाई चेन राइट कर सकते हो, आप छोटा सा सॉफ्टवेयर बना सकते हो, आप छोटी सी फैक्ट्री बना सकते हो, आप आपके क्लाइंट की फैक्ट्री को रेडी कर सकते हो कि भाई मैं आपको कुछ ला के देता हूँ IoT में, which will make your factory 24/7 and connected to the internet world. Why don't you give me 20% stake in your manufacturing organization? I'm not going to charge you money. So what I'm trying to say is, start thinking कि मुझे यार 2 लाख रुपया चार्ज नहीं करना है बॉस, मुझे 20% इक्विटी चाहिए उसकी कंपनी में, 10% इक्विटी चाहिए उसकी कंपनी में. अगर 2 लाख रुपया देने को तैयार है वो, अगर 20 लाख रुपया देने को तैयार है तो ठीक है. It is a value for money that you're getting, and consulting may be a good opportunity, and you may be able to charge him 20 lakh rupees for that. Otherwise, tell him यार लाख रुपया ये तेरे पास कोई बात नहीं, 10% equity दे दे, let us try this. If this works, very good. If this doesn't work, no problem. So you would need to come out with some interesting ways to also modernize and help yourself build a client. Now, I have got some 2-3 interesting questions, and we'll take them, and then we'll move on to the next presentation. I think one of the question is, one of the areas of creation of land repository for corporates, which is lacking at present. Land records will get digitized in the future across the country. Yes. Here as CAs, we can contribute a lot with the help of information technology. Correct. So now, for example, if you've thought you understand land records, you understand nitty-gritties about it, start that as a service and try and see if you can integrate yourself with any digitization processes around land records, and market yourself saying that if it is land records, I understand digitization all across the country, because all across in Kerala, the land records and digitization will be different. And in Maharashtra, the land records and digitization may be slightly different. So you don't only have to understand technology, you also have to understand the nitty-gritty of the land records, because you understand it, right? You mentioned entrepreneurship. How do CA in practice expand considering guidelines of IT and ethics? Now, this is a fantastic question. So I think Vikas is asking me, कि भाई ICI है, ethics है, marketing है, how do we run around this to try and even maybe sell ourselves, market ourselves, and so on and so forth. See, marketing does not mean putting up a billboard with the name of your firm and your photograph to say you are the best firm in Thane. That is not marketing. And that is what Institute does not allow you. Marketing does not only mean putting an advertisement on the television. And that is what Institute does not allow you. Marketing does not mean just taking 5,000 names and randomly sending out an email. कोई भी नहीं आएगा, आपके पास client भी नहीं आएगा वैसे भी. That does not mean marketing. That is what Institute does not allow us, right? So marketing does not mean that you go on a social media and say that I'm the best chartered accounting firm. This is my logo. That is what Institute does not allow you. What Institute allows you is to find a solution to a problem, engage with the CFO, engage with the factory owner, engage with the entrepreneur, create a solution, and send out a specific email to say that, look, there are these problems in the industry, and I happen to be able to solve this problem. Can I come and understand from you, if you would have similar problems, to help me to improvise it? Nobody stops you from sending a very specific email to a very specific client in terms of saying that, look, can we discuss opportunities around your problem solving? And not to say, can you give me a statutory audit? Can you give me an internal audit? Can you give me a GST audit? That is what the Institute does not allow. And anyway, even if I allowed you today as an institute to tell you that please आप email भेज दो, please आप billboard पे नाम लगा दो, वहां पे तो horrendous rush हो जाएगा. कोई client वैसे भी नहीं आएगा आपके पास में. वो just dial से कोई client आता नहीं है. मतलब 5 साल में एक client आ गया तो आ गया कभी. Right? It doesn't come like that. So what I'm saying, Vikas, is you have to find interesting ways to market yourself. And marketing is just not brand marketing. Marketing is creating solutions around it. And I will show you in the presentation how EY is trying to market. I have a case study around that. And the last, I am from industry where I spent most of my working life, 37 years. One of the major work I did was achieving archiving land. Yes, so I think the land records is something that we have spoken about. The land records will require a lot of groundwork in correcting the metadata. Absolutely. If you've got them, I will give you one more suggestion. If you are so gung-ho about land records, getting the metadata right, please try and get a 3D solution. Make sure that you put a team together and make sure that you create 3Ds of the entire area around you. I think in the near future, in 10 years, the entire city of Mumbai will have a 3D impact, along with the impact of आपकी building कैसे दिखती है, आपके lifts किधर हैं, and आपका basement है कि नहीं है, and all of that would be available as a 3D chart, and you'll be able to navigate. If you're able to do this, even for a small city, forget about Thane, even for a small area, you will be able to sell it to Facebook, guaranteed for $100 million. Why? Because Facebook is developing a metaverse, which will make us walk into the 3D city of Thane in maybe the next 10 years. So as a chartered accountant, if you understand this, if you can create a model around it and try and develop it slowly and steadily, I'm telling you for sure, and I can write it on a stamp paper, that you will be able to sell it to metaverse, which is a Facebook, because people are getting into virtual reality. How you see the games coming up today, it is going to be something very similar. You'll be able to play a fighting game in Thane. You'll be able to play an educative game. You'll be able to maybe go on a drive in the virtual world in Thane city. I'm sure some of you must be smiling. Some of you may be even laughing. But this is what the reality is, my friends. This is how the world is going to look like. The question is, do you understand this? And would you want to contribute to this? And I know after the Sunday morning, you'll go back to your work of doing GST returns. But please understand that the future is not GST returns. While, of course, it's a fantastic thing for us to do in the next 5 years, but maybe not in the next 20 years. Right. So RERA is one area where we can contribute a lot, similar cooperative society formation. Absolutely. I'm saying pick up one and create a service around it. And that is what is a part of my presentation in the next presentation. So just let me give you a minute and I will share my other presentation with you. Yeah, are you able to see this? Anybody? Are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Perfect. So what I'm trying to say is, why don't we dream today? And just for maybe the next 20 minutes, because I don't normally like to stretch my discussions for a long hours. We should keep it brief, crisp, making sure that the messages and the ideas are picked up. And I'm saying, I think just 10, 20 minutes, let's just dream that why 10x, why can't we make it into 100x like Preeti said? And there's every opportunity for all of us to do that. मैंने ये बहुत बार डिस्कस किया है when even I was the chairman that यार हम लोग करते क्या है, हम लोग करते बैंक ऑडिट्स हैं, हम लोग करते कंप्लायंस हैं, हम लोग स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट करते हैं, हम लोग टैक्स करते हैं, और ये स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट कंप्लायंस बैंक ऑडिट पे तो मार्जिन भी नहीं है, टैक्स में थोड़ा बहुत मार्जिन है which is good, बट अभी टेक्नोलॉजी आ गया है, क्लियर टैक्स आ गया है, and I am sure they will develop an army of chartered accountants, people like you and me, to be able to give these services, because they are trying to break small problems and they are trying to convert it into a service or a product, which I think as chartered accountants, we should have done that long back. And what is our total income here? Our total income actually, unfortunately, is just 30% from practice, maybe 20% from consulting. जो हम पहले indirect practice करते थे, 30% revenue वहां से आता था, but unfortunately that indirect practice is also not available to, and you know what I mean by indirect practice. And of course, a lot of us, 70% of us are doing something in stock of properties. And that is why, we are very lethargic every day in the morning. We are very satisfied in terms of what we are doing, because there's some the other way that we are making money, but not from our real practice. So this line on the right that you read says, we were never in practice. I don't know if you understand this. I'm trying to pass a message to say, हम practice में कभी थे ही नहीं, boss. Now, let us look at this. World Economic Forum की report है, the job landscape, which will also tell you what is happening in the world. The top 10 emerging landscapes are data analytics, AI and machine learning, general and operational managers, software and application developers and analysts, sales and marketing professionals, big data specialists, digital transformation specialists. And that is something that we can play a fantastic role. New technology specialist, organizational development specialist. That means how do you even develop an organization? How do you even get the team right? And of course, information technology services. Top 10 declining mein hai data entry, accounting, bookkeeping and payroll clerks, administrative executive secretaries, assembly and factory workers. So I think somebody spoke about factory workers, client information, client service workers, business service administration, all that is which is possible to do by machines and which is repetitive in nature is likely to, of course, slowly and steadily go out. And I know that you would have all heard about it. But now just try and relate this to what I spoke to you 10 minutes before. Just try to relate to the business models which I spoke to you just 10 minutes before. Outcome-based, hyper-personalization, access versus ownership. हमारी सब technology अभी cloud में है, which means we don't even own a software. Earlier, you used to own a Microsoft software. Today, you don't own it. And imagine, हम 20,000 रुपया Microsoft software का देते थे, जो हमको software बेच के जाता था, हम 5 साल चलाते थे उसको. अभी हम 15 से 18,000 रुपया साल का दे रहे हैं 365 का. Why? Because if you take any extra service, they will make it to 18,000, 20,000. Otherwise, initially they'll pay you for 10,000 rupees. But can you imagine? 2-3 साल में वो software का cost will be equal to what they were selling to you. So just imagine the kind of margins and the value proposition that they are trying to set up. That is the possibility of the difference today from a service. यार, amazing. जो 5 या 7 साल आप यूज करते थे, वो आपसे 1 साल का पैसा लेके जा रहा है. That is an opportunity that you have. So what I'm saying is, let's do a 360-degree change, right? Indirect practice is lost, right? And if the practice is only 30%, why don't we go back home today and assume कि ये practice नहीं है हमारे पास में? Because, you know, stock, properties, I'm sure you're going to make that money. Assume that you don't have a direct practice from tomorrow. What is going to happen? Let us try and think through now, what do we do to make this 10x? We all want to create a large practice. We all want to be the next big four. For 5 minutes, I'm telling you, there will be no big fours in the future after 10 years because it will come back to hyper specialization, hyper personalization services, which large factories like a big four will not be able to do it very well, which means there is a chance for us, which means we have a great opportunity if you have a good, strong team with you, and you have to have a team of different skills with you. Number of employees are huge in Big Four, no worries. 4 things to remember for all of you. I don't know if I have ever flashed this in Thane anytime. First, that you should do, kill your practice, give to the next best person with you. I would have individually shared this idea with a lot of people, including some of my friends in Thane. Kill your practice, meaning, jo aap kar rahe ho aaj, kill it and give it to somebody who's the next best in your office. Doesn't matter if you lose 20% of your client, because anyway you were likely to lose it. और अगर आप भी जिंदगी भर उसको करते रहोगे तो you may not lose that 20% of your client, but you may probably lose your life, right? So kill your practice, give it to the next best person. Collaborate, you don't have a choice. Culture has to change, you have to have the patience. Culture has to change, do you have the patience? Very, very important. Again, I'll take you to the second one. Think services. Don't think practice, chartered accountancy, think services. And why am I telling you to think services? एक 5 minute, कोई EY से मुझे प्यार नहीं है. I mean, I'm just using this as a EY, Deloitte, KPMG, they all say. I'm just using this as a case study. Has anybody gone to EY की website or Deloitte की website, yeah, for that matter, any Big Four website? You will see advisory services, you will see assurance, you will see taxation, growth market, transactions and specialty services. मुझे बताओ इसमें assurance service में assurance क्या है? मतलब statutory audit किधर है? ये assurance service आपको देता है climate change and sustainability पे. अगर आपने मेरा अभी background देखा होगा, so I was in an Edinburgh conference which is meant for small and medium enterprises and small and medium practitioners. And we were discussing whether climate change and sustainability services will be a great service. And I'm telling you, chartered accountants, and maybe I can take a lecture separately for you on climate change and only sustainability services क्या कर सकते हैं. इन्होंने Center for Board Matters बनाया है. Center for Board Matters तो audit service नहीं है ना भाई. उसने अकाउंटिंग कंप्लायंस एंड रिपोर्टिंग बनाया है, ये तो स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट नहीं है. उन्होंने फॉरेंसिक एंड इंटीग्रेटिंग सर्विसेज बनाया है, ये तो स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट नहीं है. फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट ऑडिट, ये शायद स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट है. आईएफआरएस हो सकता है स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट में काम में आए. लेट अस गो टू ट्रांजैक्शन. नथिंग हियर इज स्टैट्यूटरी. हाउ वी कैन हेल्प आवर पीपल, कैपिटल इनसाइट्स, कॉर्पोरेट डेवलपमेंट, लीड एडवाइजरी, ऑपरेशनल ट्रांजैक्शंस. लेट अस गो टू एडवाइजरी सर्विसेज. लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में एक्चुरियल, एनालिटिक्स, कस्टमर, साइबर सिक्योरिटी, फिनेंस, इंटरनल ऑडिट, पीपल एडवाइजरी. कैन यू इमेजिन, जो मैं आप लोगों को 10 मिनट पहले बता रहा था, दे हैव ओनली डन वन थिंग. बिकॉज दे आर लार्ज, दे आर एबल टू मैप देयर इंडिविजुअल सर्विसेज व्हिच इज समथिंग वेरी क्लोज टू व्हाट इज लाइकली टू कम अप इन द वर्ल्ड. नथिंग एल्स दे हैव डन. सप्लाई चेन एंड ऑपरेशंस. अगर सप्लाई चेन चेंज हो रहा है तो सप्लाई चेन का कंसल्टिंग कर दिया. टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हो रही है तो टेक्नोलॉजी का कंसल्टिंग कर दिया. रिस्क ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रहा है बिकॉज डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रहा है तो डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन पे एक वर्टिकल खड़ा कर दिया. प्रोग्राम मैनेजमेंट कर रहे हैं बिकॉज आदमी बहुत चीज करना चाहता है फैक्ट्री में बट होता नहीं है, तो प्रोग्राम कैसे मैनेज करो. उसका अगर गोल है दैट आई वांट टू सेट अप अ न्यू जनरेशन फैक्ट्री, तो वो भी ENY के पास जाएगा प्रोग्राम मैनेजमेंट करने के लिए. और टैक्स में भी आप देखो स्टैट्यूटरी किधर है, इट इज ऑल कंसल्टिंग. स्पेशलिटी सर्विसेज में देखो वापस CFO एजेंडा, डिजिटल, emerging market, so and so forth. So I'm saying, guys, it's all services aligned to what is there in the real world. So for a moment, just forget about statutory and statutory. Look at this. They are offering analytics and big data. Now, World Bank is saying कि analytics और big data interesting होने वाला है. So they have started analytics and big data. और ये करता क्या analytics and big data में? Marketing कैसे करता है? EY Snipace helps. That means there will be another business or a tool. So what EY has done, it has taken the EY, it is taking a tool, and it is saying that together we help businesses expedite organizational changes that drive and sustain value for analytics. ये ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा है कि भाई मुझे आप मेरे को एनालिटिक्स का काम दे दो. ये ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा है ईमेल भेज के कि मैं आपका डेटा चर्न करूंगा. ये बोल रहा है that I will change and expedite organizational changes that drive and sustain value from analytics. And in order to do that, I have taken a tool from the market. You can also take it, by any chartered accountant here can take a tool and go to the market and offer services around that. That is what it is trying to do. Now, look at that. Finance. CFO needs to work with CIOs to convert analytics into an enterprise-wide capability. The need to improve analytics capability and data management is the top driver of collaboration. Now, it is only trying to connect the need of the CFO and the CIO. और finance में वो service दे रहा है, which is helping a CIO or a CFO to come to conclusions. Life sciences, same story again. Look at all of this now. I have just tried to put this together for you. Cyber security, if you are under cyber attack, would you ever know? It is asking you a question. It is asking companies to come and look at that website, right? Finance, if the CFO is counting terabytes, who's looking after the money? People advisory, it is trying to get people for companies. Today, there is so much of requirement of resources in the market. Do your people give you a competitive advantage? Look at this question mark. ये ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा है कि मैं आपको आदमी लोन पे दे सकता हूँ, मैं आपको स्टाफ दे सकता हूँ, I will charge you on a yearly basis. ये यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, ये यहाँ पे खाली स्टाफ ला के दे रहा है आपको, right? Can risk really be transformed into opportunities? ये आपका risk transformation कर रहा है, risk management कर रहा है, but they are trying to tell you, can I do the risk transformation to actually get you into opportunities? so on and so forth. So I'm saying anything and everything that you see today on this website is nothing but simple things that they're trying to do. Sometimes we get lost in jargons. So please don't get lost in jargons. These are very, very simple services. Break it into one and you'll be able to achieve it. So let me not again deep dive into risk. I would want to tell you how they sell these services now. So the third thing is automate and productize it. Now, for example, I had got a question around land records. You know, I went to Nagpur during my election campaign and I met 3 young chartered accountants. And these 3 young chartered accountants started a company just 3 years back, maybe 2.5, 3 years back. And the only service that they were offering was TDS. As chartered accountants, do you understand TDS? आप लोग सबको TDS तो आता है ना, right? What they did, हमको audit नहीं करना है, हमको statutory नहीं करना है, हमको reconciliation नहीं करना है, हमको TDS करना है खाली. अब TDS में क्या किया उन्होंने? जितने भी प्रॉब्लम है TDS के, बड़ी कंपनीज के, lot of branches, lot of offices, lot of areas, cutting, reconciling it, automate कर दिया उन्होंने इसको. They have a 100 people team, Python में कोड लिखा, सर्विस लिखी, सॉफ्टवेयर बनाया, ऑटोमेट कर दिया उसको, and developed the services around it. Today, they provide services for TDS with automation to some of the largest banks in the country. And ऐसे करने वाले इंडिया में खाली 2 या 3 लोग हैं. And their revenue in the last 3 years is 30 crore rupees. Now, is that not fantastic for 3 young chartered accountants? Now, forget about this. This is not even the end of the story. The end of the story is they have recently been approached by ClearText. ClearText के पास में revenue ही नहीं है. उसने हवे में एक services बना दिया है, website बना दिया है, उसके पास में revenue नहीं है. So they want revenue. So because they want revenue, they have approached companies like this, small companies. अच्छा, आपका 30 crore का turnover है, I don't mind giving you 10 times your turnover. Why? Because ClearText is valued in billions. It can afford to give them millions. So ClearText is saying, I can give you 300 crores. Will you please sell me your services of 30 crores? Now, that is the kind of value that I am trying to ask you chartered accountants to create. Bhai, breakup TDS services can get you 300 crores in value. मैं तो आपको factories लगाने की बोल रहा था सुबह. I'm saying if you break your problem into a very small problem, get a solution across the country, because that problem is there with everybody. Land record problems could be with everybody. If you're trying to offer it as a service, automate it and productize it. And once you productize it, then you have to sell the same product from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and you'll be surprised that the same problem statement is across the world in a lot of developing countries also, and maybe in the developed countries also, which you can go and sell it across the world. So please productize it. एक और प्लेटफॉर्म है, I think everybody knows about this. I keep talking about confirmation.com. जैसे TDS पकड़ा है, confirmation of the balances was also a global need. And this company confirmation.com कुछ नहीं करता है, ये खाली 2 कंपनी के बीच में confirmation ला के देता है आपको. This company is worth $1 billion today, and it works. And today, in Indian banks have started to use the services of confirmation.com. I understand that Kotak Mahindra Bank has signed up. A lot of other companies have signed up. And this is such a simple story that any chartered accountant understands. हम तो statutory audit में confirmation लेना भी भूल गए, but कोई आदमी ने confirmation को पकड़ के $1 billion company बना दिया. We process millions of confirmations annually around the world. 16,000 audit firms, 160 countries, and 125,000 auditors work on our platforms. Forget about them. Companies will also start using their services. So I'm saying automate it and productize it. Now let us take you towards the end of the presentation, and we can then start talking about even if there are opportunities to how to learn to sell your products. Learning to sell is very, very important stuff. I started this conversation by saying that we do not have the basics of selling in our DNA. Do you even have a list of companies in Thane, for example? I'm sure you will not have. Do you even have the list of CFOs of the 100 largest 500 companies if you want to offer services? Do you even have the list of cooperative societies in Thane because you want to offer cooperative society services in Thane? Do you even have the list of software companies in Thane because you would want to offer maybe some services to a software company, for example? You offer valuation services. Do you even have a list of the new startups which have come in the market today? So we do not have even the database to analyze what kind of service could be useful in the market, to analyze what kind of email you can send out in the market. और हम सब चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आके बोलते हैं कि यार इंस्टीट्यूट हमको मार्केटिंग नहीं करने देता है। भाई मार्केटिंग करने देता है, आपको समझना है मार्केटिंग कैसे करना है, राइट? मार्केटिंग करने के लिए आपको पहले डेटा तो लगेगा ना, तो वो डेटा भी है क्या आपके पास में? हैव यू क्यूरेटेड द डेटा? हैव यू आइडेंटिफाइड द नीड इन दैट एरिया? डू यू आइडेंटिफाई द नीड इन थाने सिटी फॉर अ चार्टर्ड? आई एम ट्राइंग टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट इट टू थाने सिटी, बट टुडे you have an opportunity to actually sit in Thane and provide the same services globally, because pandemic has taught us one thing: you can sit in front of the computer and do it. So please skill your practice, think services, automate and productize it, and then finally learn to sell, because learning to sell is very important. Have you ever picked up the phone and spoken to a CFO that you don't know? Have you ever picked up the phone and said, hey, you know what? I am Mayur. I have done some fantastic work. An elevated pitch. Do we even understand the meaning of an elevated pitch? Can you sell yourself in 5 minutes? Can you enchant a likely customer in 5 minutes by picking up the phone and making sure that he gives you a time, by making sure that he wants to read your email? Do you have that ability to enchant? You will only have that ability to enchant when you are very good in the services that you're trying to offer. You are fantastic in the services that you're trying to offer, and you understand the nitty-gritty of the services that you try to offer. So if you pick up the phone and say that, look, millions of land records is something that I have identified has always been a problem statement, and I know that you are a development or a developer company, and these are big challenges that you have, and I'm able to solve it for 20 such developers in the past using some very interesting technologies and connects with the government organization. Somewhere, if you're able to do an elevated pitch, out of 5, I'm telling you, 3 or 4 people will call you. And then you will be able to take a presentation to solve a specific need for him. That is how you go and sell consulting services. And does Institute not allow you to do that? I'm sorry. Institute does not stop you from doing that. I repeat, Institute does not stop you from solving a problem, discussing a problem, which eventually will translate into a sale. That is something which is not stopping you to do. That is how you're supposed to do it. Now, look at this. What are they trying to say? They are trying to say कि भाई, as an organization, आप digital बनो. But question क्या पूछ रहा है? Can a long-standing company begin a new chapter in digital age? Do you have old manufacturing hubs in Thane? Do you have old businesses in Thane, for example? Have you ever picked up the phone and asked the CEO that would you like to become a new chapter in digital age to enable your organization to grow 10 times? Have you ever picked up the phone and told him something like this? And if you pick up the phone and tell him something like this, will he not give you time? Of course he will give you time. There is no chance he'll not give you time. But once he gives you time, do you have the ability to hold the fort and deliver a product to him which will enchant him to make sure that he says, yaar, let's catch up again. Let's catch up again. And please try and help me solve this problem. Have you ever done this? What is the writing? Our purpose is to build a better working world for our clients, our people, and our communities. Look at that. How do you choose between authenticating identity and delivering smart services? Now, I'll just explain this. Cyber security world में और systems audit world में authentication, identity बहुत important चीज होती है, ठीक है? और बड़ी कंपनीज को प्रॉब्लम होता है कि हम चूज क्या करें, डिप्लॉय कैसे करें, इंप्लीमेंट कैसे करें. छोटी कंपनी को भी होता है. ये क्या सर्विस दे रहा है? बहुत सिंपल सर्विस दे रहा है. ही सेइंग how do you choose between authenticating identity and delivering smart services? He's trying to say that by choosing the right partner to, मतलब, और ENY कुछ नहीं करता उसके अंदर, वो एक टेक्नोलॉजी और टूल लेके आता है. By choosing the right tool, I will help you to deliver smarter services and experience. And I will only help you to select the tool. तो सर्विस क्या दे रहा है? सिलेक्शन करने की दे रहा है. बना भी नहीं रहा है, टूल बना भी नहीं रहा है, टूल बेच भी नहीं रहा है, सर्विसेज बेच रहा है, खाली एक टूल का आइडिया दे रहा है आपको. सो कैन यू नॉट पिक अप समथिंग विच इज इन द मार्केट, कोलैबोरेट विद समथिंग, क्रिएट अ सर्विस अराउंड इट एंड क्रिएट द एज फॉर योर क्लाइंट अराउंड इट. क्लाइंट की नीड को आप बेटर कैसे सॉल्व करोगे? Now, can you imagine again? This is for a pharmaceutical company. I don't know if you're doing any work for a pharmaceutical company. He's saying, can you make regulators and patients happy at the same time? And it is putting up a small case study. We helped a pharmaceutical company work better by helping it improve its return on its digital investment, creating simplified experience for customers and payers that were more cost effective and compliant. Does somebody stop you from putting up a blog of a case study of what you have helped to solve for a client? Does somebody in the institute stop you from putting a question like this and putting a blog, maybe not on the first page of your website, and a case study of what and how you have done to solve a problem without writing the name of that pharmaceutical company to protect confidentiality and create a story around it? Nobody stops you from doing that. Have you ever done something like this? बट जब आप जाते हो क्लाइंट के पास तो आप बोलते हो ना कि मैंने वो क्लाइंट का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया, वो क्लाइंट का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया, मैंने उसका लैंड का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दिया, मैंने उसके 20 करोड़ रुपए बचा दिए टैक्स में, वगैरह वगैरह. सो इट्स अ न्यू वर्ल्ड माय फ्रेंड्स. You will have to articulate what you do somewhere in the virtual world for a larger section of the people to see it, rather than a smaller section of the people to see it. Now, look at this. If you have a small manufacturing or a mid-sized manufacturing, what is the question they're asking? How do you go local when you can only see global? अब ये बड़ी कंपनी को बोल रहा है, बड़ी कंपनी है तो उसको बोल रहा है कि आपको खाली ग्लोबल दिखता है. How can I let you go and see local, new businesses and models and prioritize digital and customer experience? तो what I'm trying to say is, छोटे कंपनी का छोटा प्रॉब्लम है, उसको बड़ा बनना है. बड़े कंपनी का बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, उसको छोटा बन के आपको डिलीवर करना है. दोनों कंपनी का प्रॉब्लम eventually is to reach out to people in some way to maybe put their products in the right hands. And you, my friends, are the right people to be able to, because you're sitting at the edge, you know the functionality well, you're the right people to bridge the gap, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I'm saying these are questions, and you can do a little bit of Googling, and you will realize that all of these questions are available on the different websites. All of these blogs are available, which people are writing. You will be able to create a story around it, and suddenly you created a virtual world for yourself without having to say that I'm the best chartered accountant in this world, without having to put your photograph or a logo there. Now it's asking a question in a different way. आप बोलते हो मैं आपका प्रोग्राम का रिस्क देखूंगा. ये बोलता है रिस्क असेसमेंट if I do, will it help you to reduce your program risk and make sure that you're able to deliver your contracts in a nice manner? I repeat, make sure that you're able to deliver the contract in a nice manner. Now let me give you a question. Do you have large developers in Thane who are running large projects? Do you have a client who is constructing a bridge? Do you have a client who constructs factories? Do you have a client which has got a big order to maybe manufacture machineries? If your client has suddenly got a big order and he's your client, go to him, tell him that, look, my friend, you've got a big order, government order, municipality order, state order, global export order. Are you ensuring that you will deliver on time? Because just by delivering an order exactly on the 20th, what you're promised will bring you repetitive orders, and I can run the program management for you. I can make sure that I will hold this entire order together by putting two people and making sure that there is any red flag coming, delivery is not coming on time, raw materials not coming on time, I will help you solve the problem. Why? Because he does not have a team like this. Large companies in HUL will have a team like this, but your small clients will never have a team like this. But now suddenly, जो client आपको 2 लाख रुपया दे रहा था, वो आपको 5 लाख रुपया या 10 लाख रुपया देगा खाली ये ऑर्डर मैनेज करने के लिए. क्यों? क्योंकि उसका ऑर्डर 10 करोड़ रुपए का है, क्योंकि उसका ऑर्डर 100 करोड़ रुपए का है. Same client you have gone and you have converted that client into a 10x client by just offering a service which is helping him to grow his business. And aapka investment is zero. You have got the people in your office, you've got chartered accountants, you've got articles, you only have to set the concepts of program management, program risk in the right order. Can you imagine? I'm giving you small examples from technology. I'm giving you small examples which you generally like to say program management is something that all our chartered accountants can do. How do you put customer at the center of your operating model? I don't know if you have any clients for whom customer experience is important. Have you ever gone to this client and said, can I do a customer experience audit for you? Have you ever gone to this client and said, yaar, ye jo customer hai, that is so important for you. Can I figure out and help you to enhance your customer experience? Believe me, jo aapko GST ka 50,000 rupiya de raha hai client, that same client will end up paying you 5 lakh rupees. And you know what? For younger chartered accountants, GST has become a good foot in the door. It was always consumed by chartered accountants who were doing statutory audits, tax consulting. Now, in that same mid-sized client, you are able to give GST services, correct? Now, because you have a foot in the door, you also have the ability to enhance your practice there and offer him small services, which will actually make his service better. So remember, you're selling yourself in a way which is completely transparent to the institute. You're selling yourself in a way that you're adding value, which is directly seen in the top line or the profit. Not try reducing cost by increasing the business of the customer. Normally, value in the minds of chartered accountants is, can I go and reduce the cost for the customer? I have saved you in internal audit. मैंने आपका 2 लाख रुपया बचा दिया. मैंने आपका लेबर का 50,000 रुपया यहाँ पे बचा दिया. मैंने आपका 2 लाख रुपए का टैक्स बचा दिया. वैसा नहीं है. मैंने आपको 1 करोड़ रुपए का टैक्स भरवाया because I have generated a profit of 100 crore rupees for you is a fantastic statement in today's world. You used to pay a tax of only 10 lakh rupees. Because of me, you're paying a tax of 1 crore rupees. That's a fantastic statement to make in today's world. So I'm saying, please learn how to sell, create transformational blogs, create case studies, reach out to your people, tell them that I can improve your business efficiency and reduce it. Now, ये बोलना सिंपल है, बट इसके लिए आपको एक काम करना पड़ेगा. इसके लिए आपको बंदे का बिजनेस समझना पड़ेगा. इसके लिए आपको बंदे का नेक्स्ट लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस समझना पड़ेगा. अगर वो मैन्युफैक्चरर है, आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि इसका बिजनेस नेक्स्ट 5 साल में रहने भी वाला है क्या. अगर इसका बिजनेस नहीं रहने वाला है, तो इट इज बेटर दैट यू गो एंड टेल हिम दैट प्लीज सेल योर फैक्ट्री, invest it in a building, because you will make 2 times from your building, but your factory you're going to lose your money. Yeah, you'll have to tell him that boss, अगर आपने अभी आज 5 करोड़ का लोन लाके मशीन को सेट नहीं किया right, you're going to lose the business completely in the next generation. That is the kind of service that you have to start providing to your client, and you can only provide it. You can only provide it if you understand the nitty-gritties of what is likely to come. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, we only want to understand the nitty-gritties of last dates. We only want to understand the nitty-gritties of taxes. We only want to understand the nitty-gritties of GST. We only want to understand the nitty-gritty of concurrent audit. We only are spending 80% of our energy saying, ये last date पे client का मैं कैसे file करूँ? मत करो यार. Just don't do it. Be damn with it. Just don't do it. Why are you wasting your energy? Put your energy in learning something. And the easiest I will tell you. आपके पास में 5 client है, वो 5 client का business तो समझ लो यार अच्छे से, right? अगर आपके पास में 50 client है, pick up emerging 5 businesses and try and see if that will help you to enhance your service to the first 5 clients that you have. I've got a small clip. I don't know if you have shared this with you before, but it is a fantastic way of looking at how the world is transforming itself with one use cases. I don't know if this will play and the voice will come. Let me try and see if the voice will come. No, I think because I've shared it, this is not coming. Let me try and share it the other way with you. Sharing the screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm just fast forwarding it so that I can reach to the आपने अभी ड्रोन का एक फोटोग्राफ देखा होगा and look at this where people are transforming this. Yeah. Let me try and see if it plays now.
We lose an acre and a half of forest every second.
आवाज आ रही है?
There goes another one. There goes another one. It's 15
Yes, sir,
billion
it's audible.
trees a year.
Thank
This drone gives us a way to fight back. This was invented by a company called Biocarbon Engineering. They're in Australia. It is a tree planting drone. It fires a tree bullet into the ground, right? Biodegradable bullet container, soil, nutrient-rich solution, little plant, driven by AI, so it gets fired precisely at the depth it needs to go to, in the exact position it should grow in. This drone can plant 100,000 trees a day. They're building an army of 10,000 of them. They can plant 1 billion trees a year. Technology is finally getting to the point where it's making a serious, serious difference in this fight.
Now, I didn't try to show you this. I didn't try to show you this presentation by telling you again about technology. I tried to show you this presentation by trying to say that you're trying to solve a absolutely larger problem with a very small machine. I don't know. I couldn't have imagined it until I saw this, right? We are saying that we don't have trees. People are saying we cannot have plants at the right place. And this is a worldwide problem, correct? And we are saying drones can fight wars, for example. Can you imagine in the next 10 years, हमारा ये problem statement था, forests were dying, trees were dying. There is this guy who comes in and says, why my trees, so forget about dying. You want to cut as many trees as possible, no problem. I will make sure that I can grow trees in billions, right, in a very, very short time. And that is what will probably happen in the future, to tell you that you will continue to have the greenery that we have. Because a small machine is able to do a fantastic problem solving for you for a very small cost. So anyway, I'm saying that there are 500 things for all of us to be able to do, wanting to do. And the easiest for all of us is break the problem into smallest possible problem, create a services or a product around it, and make sure that you're able to scale it up all across the country and the world. If you're able to do this with anything that you have in your mind, believe me, you're not crorpatis, you're not millionaires, you will actually become billionaires. The only choice that you have, the only chance that you have is in the next 10 years. If you don't do it now, there are other 500,000 people doing it, and we would lose that opportunity to do it. So this is what I thought I wanted to convey to you, that I think there is an amazing transformation on the side of the business. There's an amazing transformation of how we will deliver our services. If you are able to marry both of them together, then I think you can kill the practice and create something which is much larger than you could have ever imagined in life. So thank you, Thane, for patiently listening to me. I don't want to stretch the presentation. Sunday morning being a very interesting one, would leave you to go back to your family members. But of course, I'm here for maybe 2 or 3 questions. that anybody would like to ask.
Anil sir, Harshvardhan here.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is from the business side, but do you see the regulators or the government agencies also evolving?
Of course, I spoke to you about sustainability. I had a lecture. I'm the vice chairman of Edinburgh Group, which is working for small and medium practitioners across the world, not only in India. And it happened last year during the pandemic. I'm hoping that this year we'll be able to add a lot of value to this. Now, look at the United Nations. United Nations is coming back and saying that we need to create a sustainable world, right? So I'm trying to tell you how this drives. So the governments, they started to give it to the governments of the world. The governments of the world started to think that yes, climate change, protection, green, whatever, was very important for human beings. Eventually, governments of the world is trying to say that businesses should be for a larger cause. It should not be only for a money cause. And what is the larger cause? Larger cause is your and my being in this world is a larger cause. Now, how would this translate into business? People will not invest the money today because people are not sure about the revenues. आज के तारीख में अगर बैटरी का कॉस्ट 5 लाख रुपया तो मैं गाड़ी 3 लाख रुपए की नहीं बनाऊंगा ना, बिकॉज कोई खरीदेगा नहीं. So governments across the world are now being forced to add some soaps for you. So they will come back and say, oh, if you do sustainable business, I will maybe give you tax benefits. I will maybe give you land. I will maybe give you subsidies. No problem. That's one way to look at it. Even if the government does not do this, Harsh, I think in the next 10 years, if you focus on, as a chartered accountant, you can focus on 2 things. As an SMP, you can focus on 3 things. You can develop a practice in sustainability reporting. That's number 1. I repeat, you can develop a practice on sustainability reporting, which means you can understand sustainability, you can understand standards, you can go and tell your large and small clients how to meet compliances. So you can deliver a service around it. The second is you can actually deliver opportunities around it, which means you can go and tell a small manufacturer कि यार अगर तूने sustainable product बनाया ना, तो तेरा product will be bought by Teslas of the world because they have a target to spend $1 billion on sustainable energy. Or even a General Motor will buy your product, even if you develop a small component. In that component, your profit margin would be 50% or 60%, right? And you may even land up getting subsidies around it. So creating sustainable products is a fantastic opportunity for all of us. Of course, in the first 2-3 years, you will not be able to do great business, but suddenly in 10 years, you'll be able to do $1 billion worth of business. We can't even imagine, right? That is my third part, that as chartered accountants, you can actually think through trying to create a sustainable business because you understand where the direction is going in the future. You know compliances are coming. You know people will have to meet that requirement. So you pick up that industry where the requirements are going to be very stringent. Healthcare, whatever, nuclear plants, maybe battery disposable, electronic disposable. And if you feel that, yes, ये area में compliance ज़्यादा होने वाला है because you know that, can I develop either a service or can I develop either a product in this area if you want to become an entrepreneur? So you can do both of these things and both have opportunities.
Right. So members, audience, any questions?
Right. So I think we've had a heavy
there are two
Sunday
hands I have raised.
morning. We've had a lot of heavy Sunday morning ideas for people, and I'm sure somebody will pick up a small thread. And if you happen to pick up one, please do come and meet me, because just as you like successes coming out of your services, I will like successes coming out of my talks, because the small talks should be able to get you into larger results.
Anil ji, I think there are a couple of hands which have raised.
Oh, please.
Gurdeep Singh ji,
Yes, sir.
yeah, you've raised your hand.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. It's
Good
Gurdeep
up.
from Aurangabad.
Yes, yes, Gurdeep. Tell
Yeah.
me.
My question is that you have talked about all these major areas, but the thing is that we are staying at Mufassil area at Aurangabad. There are the demand. We may not be able to have that much of knowledge, or the training is required. In short, I want to know what are the sources to get the trainings for that, and how to approach the persons what you have told in your session.
So, Gurdeep ji, pehle to I will ask you to little deep dive into the skills that you have personally, right? And that personal skill will be what is it that you understand very well. I am not talking about technology. I'm talking about business. Which are the 10 businesses that you understand very well? Second, I will tell you the second step is please do a Google and try and figure out कि आपके वो 10 business में क्या change होने वाला है market में, right? Forget about where you're staying. Gurdeep, it doesn't matter. People are offering services from hilltops in Kashmir, or people are offering services in hilltops in maybe Alps also. The biggest possible entrepreneurs are staying in Swiss Alps, and they are working their companies out of there. So I'm saying large companies, small companies, doesn't matter. What matters is how do you put the step 1, step 2, step 3 forward. So step 1 is deep dive within yourself to understand what you understand very well. What is your best skill? Is numbers your skill? Is marketing your skill? That skill also you need to understand. The second is which are the businesses that you would like to engage with and understand. The fourth is try and see if you can get a partner from those businesses. What I mean is कि जितना आपको समझ लीजिए डेवलपमेंट समझ में आता है, कोई दूसरा बंदा जो वो इंडस्ट्री में है, जो कर रहा है, उसके साथ में start collaborating with it. Gurdeep, you don't need training, you don't need anything for this. Start collaborating with that guy and start creating ideas either for service in that industry or for even becoming an entrepreneur. Now, coming to the fact, how do you learn to do all this? Once you are able to do this, you have enough resources available on Google itself. Forget about Anil Bhandari or the institute. You have enough resources available to take you to next step forward, next step forward, next step forward. I'm available at any point in time if you need any help on any of these steps. Aurangabad se 2 बच्चे आए थे गुरदीप जी. They wanted to become auditors only for cryptocurrency companies. I don't even remember the name today. They came to me 5 years back. बोले हमको खाली क्रिप्टो करेंसी का ऑर्डर बनना है. क्रिप्टो करेंसी हमको आती नहीं है. क्रिप्टो करेंसी हमको समझ में नहीं आता है. क्रिप्टो एक्सचेंज हमको समझ में नहीं आता है. लेकिन हमने 6 महीने बैठ के सर यही किया है. अब हमको एटलीस्ट थियोरेटिकली क्रिप्टो करेंसी, क्रिप्टो एक्सचेंज समझ में आ रहा है. आई एम श्योर if they were continuing with patience today, they would have become rock stars today. Gurdeep ji, unfortunately, I don't remember the names, and they came from Aurangabad. 2 kids saying, "हमको auditor बनना है सर." आपने बोला था एक लेक्चर में, auditor बनो कोई दूसरी चीज का, हमको क्रिप्टो करेंसी ऑडिटर बनना है. Can you imagine? आज तो मतलब अगर उन्होंने कुछ कर भी दिया होगा ना वो एरिया में पेशेंस रखे, तो आज तो मतलब उनको आज से लेके नेक्स्ट 10 साल तक आई थिंक उनकी तो फर्म बन गई. They would have really become rock stars. So and start with small problems, Gurdeep ji, one by one.
Thank you.
Vignesh Pujari ji, you raised your hand. Shilpa ma'am, you have raised your hand.
Yes, sir. You're able to hear me?
Yes, Shilpa, we can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, you mentioned about chartered accountant's role in program management or project management. So
Yes.
just wanted to know that, like how well can a chartered accountant, help an organization in project management? Because I think
Wow, fantastic question, Shilpa ma'am. And I think for young chartered accountants, this is a fantastic opportunity to develop practice. And this is also a fantastic opportunity in the corporate world. Please remember this.
yeah.
And I'm saying this, careers can change and you'll become, even if you're working somewhere, you'll be able to make amazing salaries. I'll give you my own example. I run a cyber tech company where I do a lot of programs. Programs means मुझे technology improve करनी है. So I set up a team of 5 people. मुझे फंक्शनैलिटी इंप्रूव करनी है, आई सेट अप अ टीम ऑफ 5 पीपल, मुझे कुछ लॉन्ग टर्म मेरी स्ट्रैटेजी है, so I want to get my sales piece right, I want to get my marketing piece right, so I'm mentoring that organization. Now I have given that organization 10 projects to run, और आपको और मुझे पता है ये 10 प्रोजेक्ट हम अभी एक आप अगर आप वेबसाइट बनाने की कोशिश करोगे ना, तो एक अच्छी वेबसाइट बनाते बनाते आपको साल निकल जाते हैं शिल्पा जी, यू नो, इफ यू ट्राई टू क्रिएट अ गुड वेबसाइट, आप भी आपकी फर्म के लिए बनाने की कोशिश करना, अगर सिंपल 1-2 पेज की बनाना है तो कोई आके बना देगा आपके लिए, बट एक कुछ अच्छा चीज करना है तो आपको साल निकल जाते हैं। साल जाने चाहिए क्या? नहीं जाने चाहिए। यू शुड बी एबल टू रन a project like a project and finish in 20 days, because otherwise your life will end. Now we don't have time, is something which is of essence.
Correct.
So if you want to finish your projects fast, like how Zomato scales up very fast, how a lot of these new age companies scale up very fast, तो उसमें क्या है, because they are running 20 100 projects internally, they need people to be able to hold the projects together. सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में उसको स्क्रम मास्टर बोलते हैं। स्क्रम मास्टर मींस सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट कर रहा है, फंक्शनैलिटी लेके आ रहा है, डेवलपर से बात कर रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी लीडर से बात कर रहा है, फंक्शनल एस्पेक्ट से बात कर रहा है, क्लाइंट से बात कर रहा है। He becomes the program manager and make sure that by coordinating and collaborating, and if it is stuck anywhere, by getting other resources, going to the market, going to the boss, and having so much of rigor that if you have committed 20th, that product is delivered or that service is delivered on 20th. ऐसे इतने प्रोग्राम मैनेजमेंट की अपॉर्चुनिटी है। अगर आप एक बहुत बड़ा ऑडिट रन कर रहे हो गवर्नमेंट एंटिटी के लिए, ENY KPMG एक प्रोग्राम मैनेजर लगा था वहां पे। अगर गवर्नमेंट, अगर थाना म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन, बॉम्बे म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन एक प्रोग्राम रन कर रहा है, उसे एक प्रोग्राम मैनेजर चाहिए रन करने के लिए। आई वॉन्ट एटलीस्ट 10 प्रोग्राम मैनेजर्स इन माई कंपनी एंड आई एम विलिंग टू हायर देम लाइक टुमारो। At least 10 program managers. I have recently hired a chartered accountant who's come from Akola and just put him in program management. I have given him 3 projects and I told him, तेरा काम समझना है, तेरा काम टेक्नोलॉजी सीखना है, और तेरा काम ये इंश्योर करना है, गाली दे, गलोच कर, सुबह कर, रात को कर, एस्केलेट कर, रिसोर्सेज लेके आ, but you have to deliver this project by the 20th of this month. The delivery responsibility is yours, not of the development team or not of the sales team or not of the consulting team or whatever. So like this, I think Shilpa, the requirement is so huge that TCSs, Infosys, Wipro just give program managers for 50 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees per annum to large clients. So there is a requirement in secondment also. तो अगर आपने प्रोग्राम मैनेजर की 20 लोग की टीम बना ली, 5 तो मैं ले लूंगा और 15 लोग तो कोई दूसरे ले लेंगे आपसे, और बैंक ले लेंगे, फिनटेक कंपनीज ले लेगी, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज ले लेगी, आदमी ले लेंगे आपसे। फॉरगेट अबाउट एनीथिंग एल्स, यू विल बी एबल टू डेवलप अ पीपल स्किल बिजनेस आल्सो। और 20 आदमी आपने ले लिए, और एक आदमी का आप अगर 30 लाख रुपया भी, आई एम टॉकिंग वेरी स्मॉल नाउ, आई एम नॉट गिविंग यू लार्ज नंबर्स, 25 और 30 लाख रुपया भी चार्ज कर लिया एक आदमी का आपने, और 20 आदमी ले ले, कितना होता है वो?
Yeah, correct, sir. Got it.
कितना होता है वो? 30
Around
आदमी into 30 lakh रुपया.
600 around.
What 600? How much is it in rupees? 6 crores, no?
Yeah, 6 crores.
Amazing, na? You have developed a practice in 1 year for 6 crores and 30% is your profit margin. How much are you making?
Around 1.8 crores.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I'm not speaking in air, Shilpa. I'm telling you the hard reality today. You can make that money from me. Forget about everybody else. I'm willing to give you that work. 5 program managers. 5 program managers who are really good and who've got the energy to get up in the morning and crack the program by the 20th. Samajh ke. I'm willing to give 30 lakh rupees. Anybody here? I mean, I'm what I'm trying to say is that there is a need. I have a need. I'm not saying it because I'm a chartered accountant. I want to give you something. No, there is a need. I have a need. And if anybody is able to develop a practice like this, develop project management, you understand it, transform it to your people, teach them, train them, get them ready, you will eventually become product managers. 1 year you will take to develop 6 crore rupees of practice, I can promise you. Anybody who wants to pick up the challenge, most welcome.
Sounds interesting, sir. We'll definitely think about it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was really
Not
very
at all.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Vignesh ji, you have again raised your hand. Can you please unmute?
Yeah, thank you. And really sorry, last time my network went off. Anil ji, thank you very much. And it was actually, I would say, eye-opening session to broaden our horizon from the compliance or practice to solving the business problem. So I have one question, rather need your view. If we add, being a chartered accountant, we know the compliance piece, how where are the issues where business face in terms of the compliance, making sure that they are compliant in 100% sense. And if we try to automate, like government, which right now is heading toward that. Earlier it was income tax, now it is GST. So lot of problem internal processes of client, if you want to automate, like your case study of Nagpur team, the technology plays a vital part. Being a chartered accountant, we are not so much acquainted enough to handle that technology, how to develop the technology around that. Would you throw some light how to have that? Because
Yeah, I think,
India is,
this is I get your question. I get your question. This is a question that every chartered accountants will ask me. But I'll tell you what, yeah, it is not technology. It is functionality, which is important. It is your mind of how you are able to construct the solution in your mind. चलो कोडिंग आपको नहीं आती है, आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट. आपको सर्वर नहीं समझ में आता है, आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट. आपको इंटरनेट नहीं समझ में आता है, आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट. आपको सिक्योरिटी नहीं आता है, आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट. आपको ये समझ में आता है क्या कि मैं टीडीएस का एक प्रॉब्लम लेके उसका पेपर पे सोल्यूशन कैसे बनाऊं? आपको इतना आता है क्या? आपको
100%.
lot of chartered accountants come to us even in the institute and give suggestions. अरे यार ये तो इजीली होना चाहिए, ये तो ऐसे हो जाना चाहिए, हमारा मेंबरशिप नंबर तो कभी कट ही नहीं होना चाहिए, पेमेंट तो परफेक्ट जाके डेबिट क्रेडिट बराबर हो जाना चाहिए. सो वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड फंक्शनैलिटी. सो अगर आपने एक पेपर और पेन लेके वो प्रॉब्लम को फंक्शनल एस्पेक्ट में ड्रॉ कर दिया, लाइक अ फ्लो चार्ट, कि अगर समझ लो टीडीएस का प्रॉब्लम है, पहले मैं ए बकेट में डालूंगा, ए बकेट को सॉल्व करूंगा, ए बकेट में से 2 बकेट लिख लेंगे, सी एंड डी लिख लेंगे. सी बकेट को मैं इजीली सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ, डी बकेट को हो सकता है मुझे मैनुअल इंटरवेंशन लगे, राइट. तो ए तो ऑटोमेट हो गया, बी तो ऑटोमेट हो गया, सी ऑटोमेट नहीं हुआ. क्यों? क्योंकि हो सकता है मुझे जाके ओल्ड 10 साल पुरानी फाइल देखनी पड़े, राइट. तो मैं ऑटोमेट नहीं कर सकता हूं उसको. इतना करने के बाद two things you can do. If you have the money, 10 lakh rupees in your pocket, you can go to a developer and tell him, भाई 10 लाख रुपया मैं देता हूं आपको, please develop this as a product or as a small solution for me. Solution is only small, the idea is the bigger one. Developer आज मिलेंगे आपको डेवलप करने के लिए, the idea is the bigger one. The second is, suddenly आपको लगा यार ये पायलट तो बहुत बढ़िया हो गया है, तो एक काम करो, आपके पास में ज्यादा पैसा नहीं है, डोंट वरी, गो टू सो मेनी इंजीनियर्स इन द मार्केट. यार फैमिली में मिल जाएंगे आपको. बोला व्हाई डोंट यू कोलैबोरेट विद मी, आई हैव अ लार्जर गोल. तू तेरा काम कर, नौकरी कर, शाम को ये प्रोडक्ट बना दे. बनाने के बाद द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज where do you go and how do you go to sell that. That is again very important. So you need to also figure out your target market. Now again you will say हम तो young chartered accountant है, स्टेट बैंक में कैसे जाके मार्केट कर दूं, ये कंपनी में कैसे जाके मार्केट करूं. So now you need a chartered accountant or a sales guy or a person who's got that skills, who's smart enough कि उसको फोन उठा के वो 5 लोग को बिंदास फोन करेगा और 4 की गाली सुन सकता है वो. So like this steps if you do, you'll be able to convert it into a business proposition for you if you don't have startup capital. If you're rich and you have startup capital, you can of course do this faster, right? Which is what venture capitalists do. They make you work hard by putting the money because their job is to make money from money. They have learned this art of, वो बोलते हैं यार ये सब बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, इनको करने दो, गाड़ियां इनको बेचने दो, मैं तो 1 मिलियन डालूंगा, 1 बिलियन कमा के लेके जाऊंगा, मेरे को तो काम ही नहीं करना है, मेरे को सिगार फूकना है, something like that. Everybody has got a style. So what I'm saying is you'll have to do one by one. Just forget for a minute you need technology. Just forget for a minute you need technology.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'll tell you, I'm trying to solve this problem. I keep giving you lectures now. Audit and accounting is a dying practice, right? I keep giving you that lecture. Audit and accounting is a dying practice. पहले मैं शर्मा के बोलता था, अब तो मैं जोर जोर से बोलने लग गया हूँ. 5 साल पहले शर्मा के बोलता था, सब बोलते थे सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर है, अभी तो मैं सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर भी नहीं हूँ, तो मैं थोड़ा ज्यादा जोर से बोल सकता हूँ. आई डोंट हैव टू बी apologetic about the fact. I mean अभी तो हूँ, 12 तारीख तक तो हूँ, but after 12th I don't need to be apologetic of the fact that I'm a central council member. आपका सब बचने वाला है. I don't have to put goodies around it. I can come and tell you straight on your face that my friend, audit and accounting is a dying practice and you're going to lose it in the next 5 years if you don't evolve. So ये मैं बोलते रहता हूँ. मैंने कंपनी में आके क्या किया, I said यार मैं हर टाइम बोलते रहता हूँ, तो मैंने बोला एक काम करता हूँ यार, 5 लोगों की टीम बनाता हूँ, थोड़ा फंड था मेरे पास, तो I said let us try and see if I can invest it. So I am trying to create a robo. Now I have created a team of 5 people. मैंने किया, मुझे अच्छा लगा, एक पायलट बनाया, इवन वन लार्ज कंपनी वांटेड टू इवन डिप्लॉय इट इन चेक. तो 3 साल से कर रहा हूं मैं. आई हैव डेवलप्ड दिस टीम इज बिकमिंग अ 20 people team. Of course the money is involved here because but I had the resources because I'd done something else before. We have converted it into a robotics product. But robotics product तो बहुत है मार्केट में. मैं कोई CIO को फोन करता हूँ तो बोलता है मैं तो ऑटोमेशन एनीवेयर यूज करता हूँ, मैं UiPath यूज करता हूँ. Those are $10 billion कंपनी. मिस्टर भंडारी, what size is of your company? तो हम तो पिद्दी भी नहीं है यार उसके सामने. तो मैंने उसको बोला मैं ऑटोमेशन टूल डेवलप नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं आर्टिफिशियल CFO डेवलप कर रहा हूँ. आपको मिलना है क्या मेरे को? मैं आर्टिफिशियल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर बना रहा हूँ, मैं आर्टिफिशियल चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बना रहा हूँ. आपको मिलना है क्या? ऑफकोर्स मिलना है उसको यार, उसका बाप भी मिलेगा बॉस, राइट? So I'm trying to construct something which will have AI, ML, whatever, just from my mind. I'm not a developer. I don't know how to code, right? Can I convert him into a smart Vignesh or a Harshvardhan or anybody, for example? What do we do here? We get up in the morning and do what? We go to our office and do what? If you break that step by step, आप exactly सुबह से शाम क्या कर सकते हो? You'll be able to create a robo for yourself. चलो 50% कर लेगा आपका काम. I promise you 70% आपका काम कर लेगा यार. So that is how you to start. Technology has no bearing, simply no bearing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Anybody who's a young young senior, doesn't matter, who's a chartered accountant who understands accounting, financial controls, who understands being a CFO, nitty-gritties of what you do, you're invited to my office to work with me for developing this artificial CFO.
Wow. Yeah, Nikhil ji.
Hello, Anil sir. Very happy
Yes.
to see you.
Thank you, Nikhil.
I appreciate your efforts, and yeah, this will be a good thing. I left India for the same thing. I settled in North America. I am a PMI certified, project management and agile certified. Yeah,
Fantastic.
so
Fantastic.
I am doing SAP implementations over here. I'll connect with you separately. Thank you.
Most
very
welcome.
happy.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The agile certified, PMP, all of this, guys. I think everybody else on this forum, you have to just pick up one task like this, do something like this, create a team around it, and we'll be able to do 500 things. We have so many people amongst ourselves who are actually doing this. We don't realize the importance sometimes. That's the only problem. If Robo will do 70%, then what does CA should do? That's a good question there. मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना भाई साहब, ये प्रैक्टिस बंद होने वाली है यार. See guys, इसका मैं I also want to clear this fear in your mind. What is the best example that I can give you? What I'm thinking. आपको C language पता था? C++ सुना है आपने कभी? Right? तो computers talk in binary 0 and 1. Correct? ये तो हमने शायद, अगर आपने इसका पास किया होगा तो शायद पढ़ा होगा. And computers talk in 0, 1, and the C language talks very close to the binaries, right? तो हाई लिखने के लिए, HI लिखने के लिए आपको 50 लाइन की कोड लिखनी पड़ती थी पहले, खाली क्या करने के लिए? हाई प्रिंट करने के लिए, HI हाई टू प्रिंट ऑन योर कंप्यूटर. तो वर्ल्ड में सब लोग ने बनाया, धीरे धीरे इवॉल्व हुआ. अब दूसरे लैंग्वेजेस आए. So you had a .NET, you have Java, if you have heard these names, right? They sit on top of one of these libraries. Somewhere in the bottom, the library consumed is nothing but C only, correct? इन्होंने क्या किया? हाई को पकड़ा और हाई को एक कोड में कन्वर्ट कर दिया. तो अगर मैं उसको .NET में एक लाइन के कोड में लिखूंगा तो हाई प्रिंट हो जाएगा. नीचे क्या हो रहा है? 20 लाइन का कोड एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है, राइट? अगर मैंने पाइथन बना दिया तो वो तो एक लाइन का भी कोड नहीं लिखता है, वो 2 वर्ड का कोड लिखता है. सो रिमेंबर, पाइथन इज अ वेरी इजी लैंग्वेज टू लर्न फॉर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हु हैव एनी इंटरेस्ट इन लर्निंग टेक्नोलॉजी. अब क्या होगा मालूम है फ्यूचर में? आप मेरे को पूछोगे यार वो सी प्रोग्रामर का क्या हुआ, भाई कुछ नहीं हुआ वो सी प्रोग्रामर का, वो जावा प्रोग्रामर बन गया, वो स्मार्ट काम करने लगा, उसका पूरा दिन लगता था हाई लिखने में, अब उसका आधा दिन लगता है हाई लिखने में, वो हाई हर्ष लिख देगा, वो हाई विघ्नेश लिख देगा फटाक करके, राइट। फिर हमने बोला यार ये डॉट नेट वाले को भी तो 2 लाइन लिखती थी, तो उसके लिए हमने पाइथन निकाल दिया 1 वर्ड में, तो हाई विघ्नेश में फटाक करके लिख सकता हूँ, खाली 1 ही वर्ड में लिख सकता हूँ मैं। नाउ व्हाट इज कमिंग इज स्पोकन इंग्लिश. So you will be surprised that in the next 5 years, you don't have to be a coder. You will be able to stand in front of a computer and say कि भाई कंप्यूटर साहब आप मुझे ये सॉफ्टवेयर बना के दो जिसका एक स्क्रीन होगा और उसके अंदर एक यूजर आईडी और पासवर्ड का बॉक्स होगा और वो आपको पब्लिश कर देगा. Why? Because it will go and execute it behind. So what is happening is world over we are learning from something and developing models around it. जैसे मैंने आपको बोला ना, स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम को एक सोल्यूशन दे दो, तो वैसे ये स्मॉल स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम थे, इसके सॉल्यूशन बनते जा रहे हैं धीरे 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 धीरे. तो इवेंचुअली क्या होगा, अगर मैंने रोबो बना दिया जो आपका अकाउंटिंग करेगा, यू विल बी एबल टू सिट ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट रोबो एंड डू समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग अराउंड इट. व्हाई डू यू वांट टू डू लेजर स्क्रूटनी यार? यू लाइक टू डू लेजर स्क्रूटनी? अच्छा लगता है क्या? कितने पढ़े हम लोग, कितने रात पढ़े चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बनने के लिए यार. मतलब इफ आई गो बैक टू माई लर्निंग डेज, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि साला आउटपुट ही नहीं है. इतना आउटपुट तो शायद हम लोग बिल्डर बन जाते थे तो हो जाता था बॉस, है ना. एक छोटी बिल्डिंग बना लेते थे तो शायद 5 बिल्डिंग बना लेते थे आप लोग. सो समटाइम्स आई वंडर दैट द इनपुट दैट वी गेव, डू वी रियली हैव एन आउटपुट? सो प्लीज डोंट वरी, world will evolve and you'll be able to do a higher form of work rather than doing the lower form of work. So it is only going from low level language to a high level language. Nothing more is changing. And in this, you'll be able to do 500 interesting things. The only good thing that I'm trying to tell you today morning is कि if you catch it a little early, अगर आप ये चीज को पहले समझ के पकड़ लेते हो तो आपके पास में मिलियनर और बिलियनर बनने की अपॉर्चुनिटी है. पकड़ोगे आप जरूर इसको, डोंट वरी. Gurdeep ji, anybody who's asking me a question will catch this bandwagon after 5 years. The question is, can you catch it before 5 years? So कभी फुर्सत से I'll tell you एक CFO क्या करता है पूरे दिन भर में यार, मतलब आप ही सोच सकते हो. I don't have to tell you that. एक फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर करता क्या है भाई? रोज बैठ के ट्रेंड देखता है कैश फ्लो का, रोज बैठ के देखता है कैश फ्लो एनालिसिस की, कैश भी है क्या मेरे कल सैलरी देने के लिए, राइट. और क्या करता है वो? आपके चेक पास करके देता है, आपके एक्सपेंडिचर के बिल पास करता है. और क्या करता है फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर? प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, उसकी कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन हो रही कि नहीं हो रही है, देखना तो प्रोडक्शन वाले को ही, अगर नहीं हो रही है तो वो क्या करता है? वो तो सीईओ को जाके बोलता है भाई आपकी प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी नहीं हो रही है बिकॉज आपने प्रोडक्ट प्लानिंग नहीं की है, आपने ये इंश्योर नहीं किया है कि आप कितना प्रोडक्ट बेचने वाले हो. तो फैक्ट्री वाला बोलता है भाई मैं बनाऊं क्या? एम आई राइट? फैक्ट्री वाला कभी बनाएगा जब भी आपका सेल वाला बोलेगा कि मैं ये बेचूंगा. तो उसने बोला ही नहीं, फैक्ट्री वाले ने बनाया नहीं, या फैक्ट्री वाला के पास में है सेल्स फोरकास्ट बट फैक्ट्री डाउन हो गई. महीने में कितनी बार डाउन होती है? 50 बार डाउन होती है. तो फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर करता क्या है? ये करता है दिन भर ईमेल आएगा जाएगा, बोलेगा बॉस को क्यों बोलना है भाई, आई विल कन्वर्ट इट इनटू अ रोबो व्हिच विल स्पीक फॉर इटसेल्फ. ईमेल आएगा फैक्ट्री से, आई विल कन्वर्ट इट इनटू इंटेलिजेंस. फैक्ट्री बंद हो गई, आई विल टेक द इनपुट नॉट फ्रॉम अ फैक्ट्री मैनेजर, आई विल टेक इट फ्रॉम मशीन ओनली इन द सेकंड फेज. In the first phase, I'll take it from a manager. आपको पता है ये क्लाइंट को रोज क्वेश्चन होते हैं, टीडीएस क्या काटूंगा, एवरी चेक पे क्वेश्चन पूछता है, और वो क्लाइंट आपको 5 रुपया भी नहीं देता है साल का, 5% भी नहीं देता आपका रेवेन्यू का. तो आप क्या करते हो नॉर्मली? वो क्लाइंट का फोन नहीं उठाते हो, आप काट देते हो. आप यूल टेल हिम मैं फोन करता हूँ यार, शाम को फोन करता हूँ, कल सुबह फोन करता हूँ, एंड देन यू गेट बैक टू हिम सम ऑफ द अदर टाइम. तो उसका ईमेल आएगा, आप उसको जवाब देते नहीं हो, तो आपका रोबो उसको जवाब नहीं देगा. जो क्लाइंट को जवाब देना है वो क्लाइंट को जवाब दे देगा. How difficult is that? So I'm saying, if you keep thinking like this, how difficult it is? Not very difficult. So I will let a Harsh do a better job. No, why should I make him just pick up the phone and answer to the client and say, कि हाँ भाई इसका TDS 2% काट सकते हो आप, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है या whatever. I don't even remember क्या है. और रोज इतने सर्कुलर आते हैं कि आप लोग खाली थाने में खाली प्रोग्राम ही अटेंड करोगे. RBI का सर्कुलर क्या बोल रहा है, GST का सर्कुलर क्या बोल रहा है, टैक्स का सर्कुलर क्या बोल रहा है. क्यों यार? बच्चे लोग भी 2x4 आजकल याद नहीं करते, वो कंप्यूटर पे करते हैं 2x4 क्या होता है. एंड यू गो टू ऑल द कॉन्फ्रेंसेस टू लर्न कि वो जीएसटी में न्यूएंसेस क्या है. क्यों करेंगे भाई? सॉफ्टवेयर करेगा ना हमारे लिए. So I'm saying that's just a different way of thinking. Of course, fundamentally, you need to understand. Once you understand it fundamentally, the incremental things can keep happening in the world.
Is the recent development by Tower Watson in line with what you're saying, sir? That legal advisory?
Yeah, of course. Of course. आपके पास में आज के तारीख में सब tools available है. It's just that you don't look at it. If you want to understand in the American court of law whether you're going to win the case or not, you can just make a call to that IBM Watson or tool or whatever, and the tool will tell you कि भाई ये कोर्ट में अगर आप जाओगे तो ये जज बहुत कंजर्वेटिव है, फॉरवर्ड थिंकिंग है, इसने जजमेंट कितने फेवर में दिए, अगेंस्ट में दिए हैं, और फंडामेंटली आप किधर हो और कौन सा एलिमेंट है जो आपके फेवर में काम करे. तो क्या डिफिकल्ट है यार. देखो माइंडसेट है ना अनिल भंडारी का, एक माइंडसेट है. तो इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड मी फ्रॉम लास्ट 10 years, you will know my reaction more or less. Let me put it this way, I'm slightly forward looking. I don't want to say I'm very forward looking, but I'm slightly forward looking when it comes to chartered accountancy. I don't mind going and telling the institute, भाई इसको हटाओ यार, फीस को हटाओ, हर साल क्यों लेते हो आप, 10,000 रुपया ले लो एग्जाम के साथ में, मेंबर बना दो मुझे. पता नहीं इंस्टीट्यूट में किसको मजा आता है हर साल फीस लेने का. आपका पैसा आता है, आपका फोन आता है मेंबर को. हमने टेक्नोलॉजी तो डाल दी, SSB प्लेटफॉर्म डाल दिया, क्या लगता है मुझे टाइम 5 मिनट लगता है. आपने CA एग्जामिनेशन पास किया, 10,000 रुपया दे दो, लाइफ टाइम मेंबर ले लो. बोलते हम लोग सब लोग हैं, करते नहीं है लेकिन. तो somebody will do it eventually. So these are some forward looking calls here. So you will know what my reaction is. My council members know what I'm going to talk in the council here. I fight with MP Vijay Kumar because he's the guy who brings out standards, lot of standards. Standards हमको पसंद है ना as chartered accountants. पसंद है कि नहीं है? Standards कभी निकालते हैं जब वो प्रोफेशन इवॉल्व हो रहा होता है. आई रिपोर्ट, स्टैंडर्ड्स कभी निकालते हैं जब वो प्रोफेशन इवॉल्व हो रहा होता है. आपको पता नहीं आपको लेफ्ट जाना है कि राइट जाना है. तो क्या होता है, प्रोफेशनल्स आर गिवन अ स्टैंडर्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड लेफ्ट जाने के लिए क्या क्वेश्चंस पूछने चाहिए और राइट जाने के लिए क्या क्वेश्चन. एम आई राइट? एंड देन ऑल चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स कंसिस्टेंटली टेक दैट कॉल, लेफ्ट और राइट, लेफ्ट और राइट. करेक्ट? आफ्टर 20 years ऑफ मेच्योरिटी, तो पहले जब हम बच्चे थे ना, गांव में अपन ने सिग्नल नहीं देखा था कभी. रेड लाइट क्या होता है, येलो लाइट क्या होता है, ग्रीन लाइट क्या होता है, राइट? तो हो सकता है यूएस में बच्चे लोग को समझ में आया, यूरोप में बच्चे लोग को समझ में आया, इंडिया में बच्चे लोग को समझ में आया. अभी रेड लाइट का मतलब है स्टॉप. वो किसको समझाना पड़ता है क्या? नहीं समझाना पड़ता है ना. ग्रीन लाइट का मतलब है आप जाओ. पूरे वर्ल्ड में किसको समझाना? फीजी में भी चलता है वो, आइलैंड पे भी चलता है वो. So it has evolved into a science automatically. That's an understanding. तो क्या होगा? Even in the future, auditing will become a social science. Accounting will become a social science. कि यार ये एंट्री है ना, ये ऐसे ही होती है. ये एंट्री कोई दूसरे तरीके से हो ही नहीं सकती है. तो मुझे क्यों स्टैंडर्ड चाहिए? तो अगर आप स्टैंडर्ड को ऐसे करके पढ़ोगे तो इट विल बिकम कॉमन सेंस टू यू. So standards would be nothing but common sense after 20 years. तो आप मुझे आके बोलोगे 20 years के बाद में अनिल सर स्टैंडर्ड हटा दोगे तो हमारी प्रैक्टिस रहेगी क्या? कॉमन सेंस तो रहेगा यार. That is what is important to understand. चलो, I think I have given lot of my gyan on a Sunday morning. I know you guys have to go and eat your lunches, but we'll love to keep engaging on this topic. I can speak for hours. On any subject including standards. So I keep telling MPV कि एक टाइम आएगा मैं तेरे स्टैंडर्ड बंद करा दूंगा इंस्टीट्यूट में, because it'll become common sense यार. बार बार स्टैंडर्ड क्यों लिखता है? So we have some very interesting conversations around.
Wow. Right.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No more questions. So it was a really wonderful session, Anil sir. Thank you so much. It was really forward looking and it helped. I'm sure it will not just enlighten us, but it is given the realization that we need to reorient ourselves, that out from the traditional practice, the legacy that we have brought forward. So, and hands-on experience. So it has really, it shows in the session. And I'm sure that all the benefits will be passed on to the members. They will take help of you whenever required. And so thank you so much for this wonderful session, sir, and a really interactive one at that. Thank you so much.
So as usual, pleasure was mine. Thank you, Thane, for inviting me. I think a wonderful morning with almost 100 people still logged on during the course of the time. So would love to be a part of any discussion that anybody would want to do. Somebody wants my email address. Here it is. Yep. Anybody who thinks closer to how I think is most welcome to my office to have any conversation, meaningful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
And the robo would reply as well, Manish. Don't worry. Thank you. Bye.